Hey guys, Bobby Volunteer here, and today I'll be bringing you another edition of my NFL offseason moves. This time for the NFC North. Now, what's weird is there are three teams here that need a running back, and they can't all get a good one with how I view the draft's running backs, but most of them can, and overall there are some there's very similar problems in this division, let's just say that. Starting off with the Bears. Now, at first I thought, the Bears should take a quarterback. They just got rid of Jay Cutler, thank goodness. And they really need one, but upon further examination, the closest one I think they could reasonably get is Mitchell Trubisky. And like I said, I think he's going to be a terrible bust. So the Bears should just wait another year. They can afford to wait a little bit. Meanwhile, they have a really good defense, actually. It's kind of underrated from what I've seen. And, of course, a really good running back, second best running back in the league last year, who also ran for about 1,600 yards, so he should definitely be a force. Now, what the Bears should do this draft? Well, since they can't get a running back, since they can't get a quarterback, they can focus on making their defense great by improving the D-line and their secondary so it gets even better. Another option that we should probably consider here is receivers. I'm not sold on that. They have a really good running back, and their defense is already pretty good, so I'd say focus on your defense. Again. Lions. Yep, they still need to improve the D-line and the O-line, but since the O-line is kind of harder to improve this draft, well, let's focus on that defensive line first. And with your second pick, you take Samaz Perine. I think that's how it's pronounced. Now, the Lions' running back problem isn't actually with their running backs. I'm pretty sure it's just the O-line, but I'm fairly certain they're going to take a running back, so that's why it's on here. And after improving their defensive line, the Lions should actually be pretty scary. Like, they got into the playoffs last year. They're not a bad team. Give them a defense, and they might just do something impressive. Then there's the Vikings, who definitely need a new running back after releasing Adrian Peterson to the Saints. They need a running back, and they need it really badly because they couldn't run for crap last year. So it's almost definitely going to be a first pick for the Vikings here, especially because it's a defensive draft, and the Vikings' defense is already set. So what they need is a running back. And since I assume Leonard Fournette's going to be taken by the time the Vikings pick comes up, they're going to have to take Dalvin Cook. Now, he is one of those catching running backs, those running backs who pretend to be wide receivers sometimes. And I'm not the biggest fan of them, but Dalvin Cook is good at running as well. He's not a power runner, which is preferable to the Viking situation, but he should be a good runner nonetheless. He's definitely fast, definitely agile, definitely has good balance, good eyes. I saw all of that when I watched him. He should be a very good running back. Also gives them another thing to throw to, which should be good. And what I heard recently that kind of surprised me, but really shouldn't have, is that the Vikings apparently aren't interested in keeping Teddy Bridgewater much longer. Like, my thought, like, I just can't imagine. I couldn't imagine them not keeping him around, but then I thought, you know, Bradford's hasn't done a bad job with them. So I guess they can get rid of Teddy Bridgewater. Which is basically meaning they're either going to shop him around while he can, see if they can get a trade somewhere, which they probably should be able to do, because he's not a bad quarterback. Or later on, they'll just release him, which, they release him. So the Vikings, while this season isn't all that great for them, draft-wise and off-season-wise, they have some very interesting stuff coming up next year. Oh, and meanwhile, in this draft, they also need to improve the O-line, because that is their absolute biggest problem, bar none. And the final team, the Packers. They need a secondary, they need a running back. That's it. Now, part of their secondary issues is health. The guys got hurt early on, and it really, really started to bite them. That said, it's a defensive draft, so they can definitely get more depth at secondary is extremely important for them. And they also need a running back, which I don't actually have a name for that running back yet, because I honestly cannot see who would be worth taking for the Packers, because their first pick isn't until the second round. So, and I don't think there'll be any running back available worth a first round pick for them, especially after, they kind of need the secondary a little bit more. I'm not sure the Packers will get a good running back. Well, anyway, that's what I think of the NFC North. What do you guys think? Leave that in the comment sections below. And I'll see you later today, I guess. Get it.